All right, everybody, welcome to the Chadman and Randy Show. Seems like we haven't recorded in forever. Life has a funny fucking way of coming at you and just, I guess, knocking you out. And in regards to knockouts, let's take a moment of silence for Muhammad Ali. What do you got signed by him, dude?
There was a glove that I haven't been able to find, and then I have, actually it's one of my mom's old bank statements, but a deposit slip turned backwards that we had him sign.
Oh, she just ran into him, that's all she had?
Well, no, we saw him in Vegas.
And
this was 87. He was at the Lady Luck, and it was known that he was getting fucked up, but it wasn't as bad as everybody thought it was going to be or whatever. This is still when, wow, Champ's getting a little bit slow here or whatever, and it took him probably a total of 15 minutes to write his name twice.
Really?
On those two things. Yeah, and you know.
I was reading some shit recently that some conspiracy, because dude, as soon as someone fucking died, dude, the conspiracy theorists, they come out, they said the CIA or somebody injected him with some Parkinson's causing disease to shut him up or something to make sure he couldn't talk and be so, I don't know, out there with his views and shit. I don't know.
Okay, let's get into this.
Everything becomes a fucking conspiracy theorist. You saw it with Prince, another one that just passed away. I mean, you even saw it with the fucking gorilla, dude.
I want to get into the Muhammad Ali thing. That dude is the greatest magician who ever lived. How are you in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, black, which a lot of people had a problem with at the time, a draft dodger, which people had a time, a braggadocious black guy, which people really had a problem at that time, and then change in a Christian nation to Muslim, and this guy is still getting over his people loving him. That's the greatest fucking magic trick anybody's ever pulled off.
I mean, nowadays that seems,
even then, dude, because people would have freaked the fuck out. I mean,
it is crazy, dude. It is crazy because he is the antithesis of what a lot of people hate in this country.
Yeah, and my mom loved it, but my mom hates braggadocious athletes, and this that dude wrote the book,
It's like he's the antithesis of everything that a lot of people don't like. And what's
Take a fucking bath.
And what's at the
Hold
center?
on. We're watching election coverage, and this guy needs a fucking bath.
If you guys hear any sounds in the backgrounds, because today is election day here in California, primary day, and we got we're watching live right now in the studio.
She needs a bath too.
The election coverage, because we're trying to figure out who's ahead. God, there's so much to go into, man. I mean, that gorilla thing we can fucking get into. Talk about that. The Prince issue, what's there to say about him, dude? What's funny about Prince is that you never hear people mentioning the dude. And then he dies, and it's like suddenly everybody's a fucking Prince fan.
Not only a fan. Not only, I like the shit, but everybody is trying to out-top each other in
how he affected their lives and how he inspired them.
Right. And you know what's funny is when somebody dies like that, is like if you say a memorable concert or whatever, that arena only holds, say, 20,000 people or whatever, but you'll have 100,000 people come up and tell you that they were there.
Yeah, of course. Just like Vietnam. Everybody who served in Vietnam was a door gunner, was special forces. I understand where you're coming from with that. Everybody's going to come out and say, yeah, I was at Woodstock, and there's really no way to tell because...
Yeah, but in this arena that I'm talking about, when you play an arena, there's only 18,000 people in that motherfucker, and now I'm supposed to believe that everybody I've ran into for a year and a half now is, wow, I hit I spoke to all 18,000 people that were there.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I respect what he was trying to do against the record companies. I can completely, totally, 100% agree with what he was doing. Why I didn't understand at the time because I was a kid. I could care less why he changed his name to a symbol. But now that he's passed away, I've been watching different things and paying attention to what was behind it. And I'm looking at it now. He was a genius. I mean, he accepted an award. I think the BET Awards, because he was talking about African Americans, so I'm assuming it was a BET Awards. He got an award, and he gave this speech about being slaves, and he says, you guys all pride yourselves on overcoming and everything, but you're all slaves. And that takes balls.
Right, but it's really ballsy to come out and say that you're a slave, and you write slave on your face, because of a fucking record contract.
Well, yeah, but you know what though? It's like, imagine this though, and here's how I tried thinking about it. Is that it's like us. Imagine if we were called by a network or somebody who wanted to invest a lot in our show, and they said, look, and let's just say hypothetically we could find out that we can make $1 million a year on our show just off sponsors and off whatever, and they said, look, we'll give you all this, but you're only getting $750 after the fact. You know what I mean? You're going to get all these other royalties and stuff, but cash wise, you're only getting this much. I think that's where it was coming down to. He was like, look, man, this is what I create. This is my art. This is me putting in the work. You're just distributing the shit.
But we sure as fuck, and he shouldn't have either been able to write slave on your face. If we wrote, let's try.
You're talking about because of the racial connotation of it all?
Yeah, and it's pretty ballsy to come out there and tell people who have been oppressed. I mean, you got to realize, especially at that time, and even now, there's black people around who weren't able to drink at fucking drinking fountains that other people were, or go to other bathrooms, have to ride in the fucking back of the bus.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
And this asshole's writing slave on his face because he's not getting a high enough portion of his royalties? The fuck out of here.
No, I understand. And I agree. It's pretty fucked up. So when these celebrities die, it's kind of how people come together and shit, and all of a sudden they're all affected by it. What I got mad about is that during the same time as Prince dying and Muhammad Ali dying, you had some soldiers that died in Fort Hood, which, they got these big floods going on in Texas. I'm not paying too much attention.
Dude, have you seen the statistics on the amount of water that's full?
I've seen the pictures, and there's like memes. There's this funny ass picture of these two dudes on a boat going through Taco Bell. But then you see Prince die, and you're like, okay, that's sad, that's tragic. He was an icon, I got it. And you see Muhammad Ali die, and that's huge
and nobody gave a shit about Kimbo.
Well, Kimbo. Well, no, but you know what then? Look at Kimbo. All I saw on my newsfeed today was Kimbo's this, Kimbo Slice, and it was late last night. Dude, we had 9 soldiers die in Fort Hood because of this flash flood. Now, where are their names? That shows where this country's at, is that a celebrity who's done so much and has become an icon, which is right, for giving them respect that they're due. I get it. I'm not taking anything away from them, but why not honor these people, dude? You don't see any of their names anywhere. And let's, you know why that is, I'm just going to come out and say it, and you might not want to, and other people might not want to. It's because these people, they're soldiers. Yeah, okay, they're soldiers, they're serving their countries, but people are so quick to thank veterans and thank soldiers and honor them, and obviously I felt it.
Right, well, and to get into that, you remember from Rock the Fox,
and that's
right?
sad to me.
Right, well, I mean,
there's
a bunch of slubs making $25,000 a year, and,
It's really fucked up.
It's fucking terrible.
It's really fucked up in a way. So I'm going to take a couple minutes just to name these guys' names, man, okay? Just because, let's just do them some honor, right? One dude was 21. He was a lieutenant. I could tell just by looking at his picture. His name was 21-year-old Mitchell Winey. Another 21-year-old
fucking West
private.
Point graduate, and no mention.
Another 21-year-old female private, Tashina James. 27-year-old private, Christine Armstrong. Private Zachary Fuller, 23 years old. 38-year-old Staff Sergeant Miguel Angel Colon Vasquez. Okay, I can already tell you what their jobs were. Another one was 22 PFC 22 Private First Class Zachary Nathaniel Fuller, and 31-year-old Sergeant Vernon Chambers. I could tell you what right now just by looking at these pictures and the fact that there's some females in there. There's one guy taking a picture with his white cook uniform, and then there was a lieutenant and a staff sergeant. This was a Humvee convoy. This was a meal prep team from the DFAC that was bringing food out to the training area.
So they probably just got hit or
washed
away.
And they probably don't know aside from just like basic maintenance and stuff on their vehicles, they didn't know how to react to any kind of rollover training. I can tell you right now, honest to God, that I'm about 90% certain that these people never had any kind of rollover training. They had no idea how to react, and panic set in, and once that sets in, it's over with.
Well, like in Texas and like Oklahoma, that's clay, dude. That shit doesn't absorb into the water, so you just get amount of water coming, and it's flash flood time.
Oh, dude, in Afghanistan, they would have flash floods out there all the time, and we would get like 7 inches of water. And dude, 7 inches of water moving is fucking powerful.
Well, what is it that you told me the other day? What's it take to fucking pick up a Humvee? It's only like 2 or 3 inches.
7 inches of a flood moving like that would have picked those Humvees up like nothing, dude. And once they're flipped over, unless you've been to some rollover training at least 2 or 3 times, Because you can't go to rollover training one time and be like, well, I'm good, I know what to do. Because until you've actually really felt it, so I don't want to get into all that because, God, I hate pulling the whole vet card, but I'm just
okay.
I get used to it. But it's sad because these people are nobodies. They're no one special to the average person. They're just people in uniform, and yet they're dying serving the very same people who are honoring celebrities. I just find something to be wrong with that. I understand why they're not on everyone's news feed because, people all over the country don't fucking know them, but...
Yeah, but then in 1 minute, then you hear, let's salute our heroes and God bless the troops that all these politicians hitting you with, and it is election day by this. I mean, but you hear, let's do it for the troops, let's do this for the troops, but then we're going to hear an hour at Kimbo Slice fucking... would have been champ if, whatever shit.
I mean, that gorilla got more.
Yeah, but you know what that
sympathy.
gorilla, though, you know what that also is, too, though? That's the news cycle. When did that happen? Holiday weekend. So you had 3 or 4 days of no news.
Oh, that was Memorial Day weekend.
That's like when Anthony Cumia got in trouble with his little race thing in New York City a couple years ago. When was that? It was 4th of July weekend. So the news had nothing to go with for a couple of days, and then they always take a day or downtime or two after that to build onto it.
I grew up in a huge boxing family as far as being fans and admiring the sport. I mean, I knew who Muhammad Ali was when I was like 6 years old. So I mourn the loss of the greatest ever. Not taking anything away from him. I think the draft dodging thing was chicken shit because 60,000 men died who had no choice. They weren't Muhammad Ali. The 60,000 names that are on the wall in Vietnam, okay, they had no choice. They weren't Muhammad Ali. They couldn't say the things he said and get away with it. They didn't have the privilege, which is a big word I use very, very carefully and on purpose, is that you hear a lot about white privilege. Majority of the guys who died in Vietnam were white and black, okay? Pretty much mixed, all right? I don't know the statistics, don't quote me, but here's a black guy.
And they weren't rich.
And they weren't rich, and here's a black guy, rich, on top of the world. He's able to say, fuck you.
He could have went, too, and, he's like, what was his quote, basically? No Vietnam ever called me a nigger, I think is a quote.
No, it's right. It's actually, man, see, and here's...
But see, there's part of it but what I'm saying is that you... Look at the detail that Elvis got when he... Jesus Christ, sorry. Elvis he went in, but what detail did Elvis have?
Well, that's also a little bit different. Elvis enlisted right around the Korean War, 50s era.
Right, but you don't think they wouldn't have go do a couple boxing exhibitions for the USO, fucking toured him around like Captain America in the movie? They're not putting that dude out on no fucking machine gun line.
I mean, who knows? I mean, Vietnam was kind of a tricky war, dude. I mean,
you think about Vietnam. Remember, when you hear about Ted Williams and all these dudes who served in World War II and fought.
Here we go.
You don't hear about anybody who fought like any of these people in Vietnam. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have that fucking poster of him looking over Sonny Liston hanging up in my garage.
Oh, dude, I'm not taking anything away from him. He was.
This is what I wanted to get into.
I'm listening. I'm just trying to find it.
I know, but this is where, and at Fox, how we had an issue with somebody running for office right now who we now endorse with his explanation of patriotism to a room full of vets. But the news people come on there and they go, this is to show the bravery of Muhammad Ali who risked it all. What the fuck did he risk?
Here it is.
He lost his title belt, and he professionally it hurt him because he couldn't fight for 4 or 5 years, whatever it was. But he didn't get killed. You can't tell me somebody risked it all when we had thousands of men out there dying.
So here's what happened, dude. Okay, let's just clear this up. He got drafted. It came down. All right, he refused. It led to his arrest and his conviction, and was later overturned on appeal at the U.S. Supreme Court. In March 1967, this is what he said, okay? Why should they ask me to put on a uniform and go 10,000 miles from home and drop bombs and bullets on brown people in Vietnam while so-called Negro people in Louisville, Kentucky are treated like dogs and denied simple human rights? No, I'm not going 10,000 miles from home to help murder and burn another poor nation simply to continue domination of white slave masters of the darker people the world over. And he goes on and on. But he had to pay a fine, and that was it. I mean, I think today that they would consider it a conscientious objector, okay? So my whole point is this. Those 60,000 men on that wall in D.C., They didn't have the fucking $10,000 to say, you know what, I'm not doing this.
Well,
so they went and fucking died. Majority of them between the ages of 18 and 25.
And it's not like he got anybody else out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not like that. He paved the way for other people to get out. Like, you hear this big, like, all of a sudden, and that ended the war. And they say about risk. Okay, and I guarantee you served with some of these guys where they say, well, he risked his professional career. How many dudes do you know, especially after 9/11, that were reservists, who were doctors, lawyers, or whatever, who then got called up and had to serve, and where they were fully like, now you're fucking full-time in, you're not reservists anymore, and they had to put their fucking professional career on the line.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. Most of the doctors in Iraq and Afghanistan that were on the large FOBs, Bagram in Afghanistan is the one I was very familiar with. Those doctors were reservists and colonels. I forget how it was done, but they came in. They were like in their 60s,
right.
50s, 60s, and they came in and were just given a commission. Like, they didn't have to go to fucking basic training, man. Like, they would just go in, they'd get like maybe some train up on military customs and courtesies, and then bam, you're a full bird colonel. Go fucking save some lives, which is cool.
Here's how to throw a magazine in M16 in case the base gets overrun. And
I don't even think they even saw range time, dude. Maybe I would imagine, but I mean, I don't know. But I can't say the things he felt are true or not because he was a black guy in the 60s. Is that really a fucking Keurig?
Yeah, they've been talking about forever making this Keurig cold brewer that they were going to make Pepsi and Coke and shit like that, and it discontinued. For one, it was butt expensive.
What? I broke the Keurig when I worked at that veteran organization. I didn't know how to use it. But I can't say he was wrong or right because I'm not a black man, and I'm certainly not a black man living in the 60s. But as an American and someone who served, dude, your country calls upon you whether you agreed or not. That's your fucking obligation. You're living in a country that's, by the way, providing you with the fucking freedoms and liberties to make the millions of dollars and box and do the things you're doing.
Well, and in his speech or in his statement, he said that the white slave masters and for the way Negro people are treated here in the United States and all this shit. Yes, don't get me wrong. Was the treatment not right? Yes, but it's kind of like saying that our homeless, starving people aren't the same as homeless, starving people in other countries.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and defend the white powerful people, man. I know it's been fucked up. I know it has. But at the same time, your country calls to you. You answer the call, man. I mean, that's where your mom lives. The way I see it is, like, when I joined, man, I joined for my daughter and my mom. I figured, you know what, I'm going and I'm defending my daughter and my mom. I mean, that's really why people join, because they're family and friends and they're home. I don't know. It's very controversial.
Not for the outrageous, ridiculous, great paychecks?
I mean, but there's been other Dodge drafters, man. I heard some shit about John Wayne.
Yeah.
Dodging the draft, and it's funny how when you talk shit on John Wayne, man, some pretty patriotic motherfuckers will be like, wait, what you saying,
well,
man?
Then you know what?
And dude, to be honest with you, I don't even know the details about John Wayne's draft dodger shit, man, but I don't know. It could be a rumor. But, I mean, was John Wayne a draft dodger? Let's see right here.
No, he got out because his name was Marion.
What do you mean? You mean serious?
His real name was like Marion or some shit like that. No, I'm joking around. Fuck John Wayne.
I'm just reading up to see... Oh, no, Wayne was at first deferred as he had a wife to support and 4 children. Well, I mean, didn't most people who left have wives and children? I mean, I don't know, man. I wasn't alive back then, dude. I don't know how... I know how it works now. You got to register for Selective Service. The draft calls you up, you're gone.
Well, do they still do this shit? Like, if you're an only child, you don't... Well, I mean, fuck, they haven't had a draft in...
Here's what I know. I served with the guy when I was in the 82nd. His brother was killed. He was sent home from the deployment. They sent him home. Clearly, the deployment was halfway over. Dude was sent home. And then spent some time at home. I think they gave him like a month or something. Probably all of his leave days. And then he came back. And that was it. I mean, he was on rear D while the rest of the unit was deployed. You know what I mean? So just doing shit on the company area. Knowing most of the chain of commands I served under, if someone was killed in your family, like brothers, something like that, they would send you home. Now, I also know that there was a guy whose wife was killed because they were both in the same unit, and I'm sorry, the husband was killed. They were both MPs. She went home.
What, to bury him and take care of business?
I don't fucking know, man. But
again, some people, I mean, you want to get back to work, dude. I mean, and if that's what your job is and that's what you got, I mean.
Today is election day here in California, primary. We've had T.J. Esposito on. He's running for local mayor. We had Ken Mettler. He's going to go run against Kevin McCarthy, and I'm pretty sure he got that in lock.
It'd be great if he just outright beat him.
Only things I even voted for was TJ and Ken Mettler. I didn't even bother voting on anything else because, to be honest with you, I didn't pay too much close attention to it. What I do want to talk about is this delegate situation, man. I watched John Oliver on HBO, and even though he's a little bit left-leaning, he's hysterical, and he brings up a lot of good points. And he brought up this policy that goes around the country. Every state's different, but the delegate system. How many of you listening out there know what a fucking delegate even is? Exactly. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. No, when they hear these delegates, they don't fucking know. In short, here's what a delegate is. So you have the political parties. You have the Republicans and the Democrats, and what happens is that the party, what do they call them? The party chiefs, the people in charge of the party of each state will choose certain Republicans and certain Democrats who have a voting. They have like a vote in a state in a statewide vote that will vote towards the candidate. Now, this vote that the delegates vote on when they do their primary is separate from the vote that the people do. So today,
well, isn't that state by state basis?
State by state basis is different. And you know what, man? What we'll do is we'll attach the link to it. I got to remember to do that.
You know, though, that these delegates, it's a big convention they have, and I guarantee you, you get like the Olympics, and they have to have thousands and thousands of rubbers. I guarantee you it's a convention like you used to see on Happy Days or whatever, where the pipe fitters convention, and they're just out there fucking each other and eating each other's ass the entire time and just drinking the entire time.
Here's how it works, okay? Today's the primary day in California. You have the election going on, and when you walk into the election booth, you guys went, right, today? They ask you Republican or Democrat, and you tell them I'm a Republican, or I'm an independent, or I'm a Democrat. If you're a Democrat or Republican, though, they give you your party's ballot, where you vote in the primary for your political party. So you're voting for, the people you want to represent in the general election in November.
Which I think is retarded. I think you should be able to fucking vote for anybody. Well, the primaries I can understand. No, the primaries, because technically you could fuck with it.
Well, sure you can, but so here's how it goes down. So while the people, the ordinary, everyday American,
I'm just saying, like, you could basically band together and be like, all right, let's vote Democrat, and we'll vote for
some nobody. Yeah.
We'll vote for and then come November when the fucking vote is final, and then they're running against this jackass.
So you've all heard the delegates, okay? What happens is that the people are voting. And as far as the popular vote in California, Bernie Sanders is killing Hillary. He has been going up and down this state. He came here to Bakersfield. He had a couple thousand people. The guy draws way more crowds than Hillary does. Way more. But the delegates that are selected by the party in California and in a lot of these other states, they're picking Hillary. So what happens is when the Democratic Party, when they have their national convention before the general election, okay, where they all go there and it's this big convention, you see it all over TV, they're going to pick Hillary because of what the delegates. Because as of today, Hillary has enough delegates.
Yeah.
To be the nominee.
Then you
even
though super delegate shit gets
yeah,
goofier.
Yeah, even though the people have overwhelmingly in the Democratic Party, Democrat voters have overwhelmingly voted for Bernie Sanders. Now look, dude, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not. However, I believe in the Constitution. I believe in this country and what it was based upon. I believe in the people. And even though I'm not a Democrat and I can't stand Hillary or Bernie, I believe that the people who are voting for Bernie Sanders deserve fairness, man. They deserve to have their vote counted. This fucking delegate system set up by a political party, if the political party is going to pick the fucking nominees anyways, what are you doing letting the people's vote even go down? I mean, you're completely ignoring what people's votes are counted for. Now, and then you go into the whole super delegates. So they have delegates, and then they have fucking super delegates, which the super delegates are like party bigwigs. So Joe Biden, Al Gore, a lot of these other famous Democrat names you hear of. Because if the regular delegates don't pick the people that the super delegates agree with, then these super delegates get together. So no matter what, the system's fucked. The people have no say-so. And the same thing goes in the Republican Party. The same thing. It's no different.
Oh, it's just this whole brokered convention shit. You know what's cracking me up, though?
It's
with you waving your hands
evil.
like this, sitting behind a desk, and you're talking about John Oliver. You look like that motherfucker. It's making me fucking laugh.
I love the guy. I love him.
Oh, yeah.
I love him.
We've been on that forever.
He leans a little left, and I could deal with that.
He's a lot left, but it's kind of the whole broken clocks right twice a day thing. If the guy is making some,
He makes a lot of... Because, his stories that he does on his show, it's only a 30-minute show, but the 20-minute segment he does, they are usually... Like, he did one on FIFA, which was amazing. He exposed the corruption in FIFA, the soccer... The fucking NFL of soccer, the FIFA, whatever it stands for. I had no idea how corrupt and evil that shit was.
Oh, dude, the ESPN's been tackling that for a long time.
He did another one on churches. You and me were talking about making this show, the Chadman and Randy show, a religion, and having people donate to our religion.
That was my
Yeah,
favorite episode.
Yeah, that was Randy's idea, and we figured what we would do is, have you all donate to our church, and we would be the head pastors and donate the money to legitimate causes because all these corrupt churches. He brought about the evangelical.
We will have a revival at Freedom Fest July 2nd at B Riders.
He brought it, but John Oliver brought attention to the how these pastors are making so much money and not using it. I mean, the one dude said, how Jesus wants him to have a multi-million-dollar home and a $50 million plane and shit. Unbelievable. But he has a good show, and the delegate thing stood out to me because. What the fuck? I've never paid attention.
Super delegates too. There's some states where there's no regulation.
You know what I'm getting sick and tired of is this popularism. Who is the elite? Who's cool? Who's not cool? That's what the super delegates really are. Because he named some off John Oliver in that segment. It was like Joe Biden, some of these senators and shit.
The Illuminati.
It's like the bigwigs. So
right. There's a bunch of these other ones too, though. They're just a random one.
So all these kids out there who want free shit that are voting for Bernie Sanders, they want to be heard, and they deserve to have their vote counted. They deserve to have their voice heard. I can't stand the mother. They deserve in a free society to have their vote counted. And when he's drawing huge crowds and he's obviously making a dent in her life, it sucks.
You know what?
Now, what I would hate... Sorry, I'll forget. You know what I would hate is if she chooses him as fucking vice president, because then it's over with. Yeah. I mean, Trump would have to choose like General Mattis or someone from who's just gonna just stomp the door in with patriotism.
That fucking
Harambe.
Oh, okay, dude. Here's the thing: if you look at that, you wanna back down the delegates. Take it exactly and look at it exactly as the Academy Awards. You have the people's vote. People vote with. Jurassic Park made fucking $4 billion last year. It didn't win a single award, maybe for special effects, maybe for sound. But Best Picture, nothing. You got nothing. Some movie, I think Spotlight won it, which 8 people saw, and it was a fucking snooze fest 27 minutes into it. But your vote with your dollar didn't mean shit because there's 800 to 1,000 assholes who are deemed smarter than you that are members of the Academy who vote for Best Picture of the Year.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. And it's just because people's votes... And I've been posting online that, your vote counts. Get out there, get out there, get out there. When in reality right now, okay, at the moment, with the delegate system in place, your vote technically doesn't count because, you know what?
This is a primary... No, this is a primary. Your vote does count because the delegates don't necessarily get to vote as much on this one because they still do. But you're not getting electoral college and all that other shit.
Yeah,
this number can show up, and you can show, oh, yeah, Hillary still won, but then how come more people voted for this other dude?
Oh, and yeah, don't even get me started on the electoral college. I mean,
which is the same fucking basic principle of bullshit.
When you have an election and people vote, it's like 300 million people in America. You should have 300 million votes, and then if it's less, it's because low voter turnout. But you shouldn't have a select committee of people handpicked by fucking God knows who's gonna alter the people's choice. I mean, you saw it with George Bush. I mean, technically Al Gore should have won, right, in Florida, going based on what I just said. I mean, George Bush won the electoral college votes or whatever, or the recount or however the fuck it went down. Al Gore had more votes. And look, I'm not choosing sides.
Fucking hanging chads and nonsense.
I'm just saying, like, the voting system...
Who the fuck ever heard of a superdelegate until 6 months ago?
Nobody. But that's the thing. You know what? You just said my next point. The reason they can get away with this shit is because nobody gives a fuck about... Because when we're not voting and when everyday life's going on, these people are sitting in offices smoking cigarettes and sitting in circles worming their way how they can corrupt the system. And then when the election season comes and everyone does their vote, they get the sticker like we all got, and it's like, I did my part. Well, no, you did your part, but guess what? Well, you've been fucking living your life, and we've all been doing our daily routines. These fuckers been like raping the system. It's corrupt, dude. It really upsets me. It really upsets me.
When we went to vote today, that fucking voting sticker, it really comes down to the fact that we're all 6-year-olds. Because I saw some throwing a fit that she didn't get her sticker. This pain in the ass was a hall monitor who fucking ratted people out in her class. Oh, so-and-so did this, so-and-so did... I want my sticker so she could get her name on the board or whatever.
Well, people want to feel special. People want to feel special. They want to feel like... I think I'd put mine in my truck somewhere. I don't even know where I did with it, and I got in trouble too because I didn't go with my wife. But
but I wouldn't have stopped for 2 seconds when I'm walking out the door. If they didn't hand me the sticker, I would have been like, "Well, this is bullshit."
But on the flip side of that, as cheesy and as like you said, 6th grade as it is, because I think it is kind of cheesy. It is cool because it's people showing that I voted. My fucking voice matters. I am an American citizen. Yeah, I'm going to wear the sticker, and yeah, I went and I chose where I want my country to go. As cheesy as it is, and I agree 100%, that's why I didn't really put it on. I just stuck it in my truck. But you saw it in Iraq, and you saw it in places in Afghanistan, and it was, people were crying. I saw it with my own eyes. People were, that being able to go in there and dip your finger in ink, which I thought was kind of fucked up anyways, because that ink didn't exactly come off, so that shit was laying for a couple days. So you're essentially marking yourself for death. You can take that sticker off. That ink's going to be on your finger for a while. It was such a big deal, and they were crying.
They had to make you dip your hand in fucking, all the way up to your elbow
like
in
tar,
fucking ink.
Pork blood. What I'm saying is that it's cool, and and I saw at a younger age, like in my early 20s, how important it was. These people, your voice was heard. You felt like empowered, and so I hate it when the system's corrupted and these people think they can just corrupt their way to the top, and that's what happened.
Were they able to vote with their right hand, or no? Because they wipe their ass with that hand. So
I don't know. I think it was the left hand, if I remember correctly. I don't remember.
Dude, here it is. Okay, so you guys can steal this idea too. For November election, we make a shirt that says it looks exactly like the voting sticker, and it says, I voted on the front. And on the back, it'll say, I also farted, the Chadman and Randy show. So go ahead and steal that idea too.
God, we had a really good show idea, and then somebody else went with it, and they had nothing to do with it, because we didn't even tell anybody we were doing it, but they went with it, and it was like, damn. We're not going to...
We told some people.
But
so.
Not nobody that's going to go tell them, but it sucks because here we are. It's like, we're not like you, and so we're not going to copy you. So we'll just come up with another idea that you can't. I don't know, man. So there's like nothing on this election coverage. I'm sitting here, we're watching this shit right now, and there's a ballot for sales tax to support local libraries. Because without the sales tax to support local libraries are gone. Nobody wants to read books.
Yeah, you know what? How about we run internet? It's cool to actually have the library there. But when's the last time you went to the library?
Realistically, let me think, man. I went to the library in Anchorage for my wife to help her do a class. I don't go to libraries, man.
Senior year.
I don't read. Dude, I have on the other side of that wall, I got my own personal library. I got a pretty good book collection. I like collecting a lot of books. I'll read them. It takes me forever, but...
But how many dudes do you think are in there to either, because it's hot as balls outside?
Mike gave me a book today, and he's like, here, dude, let me know when you're done. And I told him, I was like, bro, it's going to take me about probably a month or two to read this. Some people, I don't understand how some people can read a book in like a week and just burn through pages. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Oh, dude. My fucking son, he cranks out those Harry Potter books like...
See, people can do that. Our studio is fucking scorching, man.
It's a sauna.
Our studio is in the one room in my house that, for whatever reason,
is right in Satan's asshole.
It's got the air vent that doesn't push out. I don't understand why, because you go in the next room over, in my son's room, and it's an ice box. It sucks. When I'm in here late at night, I will open the window because it's so fucking hot. I don't understand that. So if there's any AC techs out there, any of you guys work in HVAC and you know the tricks or why it would happen, I thought maybe the what is it, man? The vent, the line tube. What do you call
Dude,
it?
I had the same thing in
thought it
my
might be
house.
cringe, but
and while we're asking for favors, because it's like, because the dude will stick the thermometer in there and be like, yeah, it's blowing cold. Yeah, but there's not enough blowing out.
we went to Target. We went to the ultrasound to find out the sex of our baby boy, which is what we were told. So I'm having another son. Thank you very much. And we went to my doctor's appointment, and it's fucking heat is unbelievable. This morning I left early.
If Libby says let's name him Lando, you got some questions.
No, you guys. I'll tell you his name right now. His name's gonna be Thorin Kirk Garcia. We figured we name our sons after characters that we really dig, and then the middle name will be after musicians. You know, we named Anakin Kendrick because.
Tony, she goes halfway through the pregnancy. She goes,
fans.
"We might need to change his name to Lando." Let it go. If the sound is the problem right now, it's because it's hot and
yeah. So what do I do? What do I do with this fucking thing, man? Because I put my arm, I took that vent off, and I stuck my little short arm all the way in there, and it felt like it was fine. And then the intake is right there in the hallway. So
the bathroom's hot too.
Well, that bathroom. Did you go in there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't go in there. It's that's a goddamn
put
death
a
box.
fucking block of ice up there, dude.
But the rest of the house is perfect. You know, you go into my bedroom, now you know where it's really cold is my bathroom. That's like freezing, and then downstairs. But I don't understand. So if you're an HVAC tech, or you know how that shit works.
You know what it is, because you
message
had
us.
Fucking, what's his name here, and this is where the demon's hanging out.
I knew that shit was coming,
fucking
man.
Nate
Bell. He's going to come on here pretty soon. He's coming down, I think, sometime this month.
Exercise him.
And I went to take the stroller out of my truck, and that shit was hot. And I put the kid in there, and it's come on. I mean, it burned him, and he's like, hot.
So did your mom ever have those, like, you might not have been old, but those old shitty leather seats that we had, those hard leather seats when you were a kid?
What, the car seats?
And not to
like
mention,
plastic?
no, just the seats in the car. And our shorts weren't necessarily as long as need be. And you would sit on that fucker, and you might as well be sitting on, like, the griddle of a restaurant, dude, when you were a kid.
My mom had a gray hatchback Mazda for a long time. She bought it brand new off the lot in, like, 1985, okay? And this car it was fabric seats, but it was that fabric that was so stiff that when you sat on it, that shit was still hot.
Well, that's like, people don't remember, like, Japanese cars, like...
They're not made for heat.
Are nice now, though, but back then it was, like... How much cheaply made shit can we put in this fucking thing?
And they'll run forever. I mean, yeah, whatever. Float your boat. I'm sure gas back then was like 80 cents. I wonder. I don't ever remember my mom pumping gas.
Well, if you look
because
at
she never had to.
If you look at like Die Hard, I think it was the first Die Hard when Fat Boy pulls into the AM/PM. I think it's 53 cents a gallon or some shit like that. And that was like 88.
Oh, dude, I got my license in 1999, and I remember gas was 99 cents a gallon. I remember making a joke. I was like, it's 99 cents. And I got my license in 1999. And I went to that fast strip right across from Guitar Center on Ming. And it was 99 cents. And I filled that shit up.
Everybody's like, if it ever gets over $1.50, we're going to have a fucking civil war.
My buddy dated a girl who drove a Geo Metro. And we used to give her like quarters for gas. Like fucking around with her. Like, here's a quarter for gas. Because it would run forever.
Yeah, but my friend's mom, it was a Geo Metro. She had a Chevy Sprint, which was basically the same car. You ever take that fucker up to Grapevine?
My mom. Okay, so my mom wrecked her gray car and got a Geo Metro for a little bit, for like 2 months. So we used to go up and down. I remember it was like the wheels were like little tiny.
When you had to basically get out and run alongside it to fucking get that fucker up to speed to get it up the hill.
No, she would have to start going like 90 miles an hour at the base of the Grapevine.
And as soon as you hit that, there you go. Fucking street sweepers passing you.
This heat's ridiculous, though, man. And but I take my hat off to you because I just saw an image of people at polling stations that were waiting in line outside because the line was so long. That goes to show it's stupid, but you know what? I'd rather see people waiting in line to go vote than waiting in line for a fucking Krispy Kreme that's free on Donut Day. You know what I mean?
Free Slurpees.
Like
we know you are, piggy boy.
Like that is, to me, voting's big. I've been literally every post I've been making on social network for the past 2 days has been get out there and fucking vote. People think I'm vulgar and over the top. I don't give a shit, man. Look, dude, voting is your number one concern as an American citizen. It's to secure your vote and to get out there and make your voice be heard. All your rights don't mean shit if you don't vote for them, if you don't defend them. I said something. I said, if you don't vote, you're part of the fucking problem. You know what I mean? Like if you can go vote, I'm not, because I know there's people out there who are felons who probably want to and have restructured their life, or there's whatever reason some people can't vote and they want to be a citizen or whatever the circumstance may be. If you are eligible to vote,
because if I shit in a swimming pool, I ain't swimming in it.
But like if you're eligible to vote and you haven't registered and you're not voting, you're part of the fucking problem, man. You right there, because low voter turnout is how these fucking corrupt people come to power. They profit, they capitalize off low voter turnout, and it's upsetting, dude. And the only reason it upsets me so much and why I get so mad, dude, is because men and women have died for that shit, and I take that serious. And
well, you look at all these countries where they get the ability to vote, and look at what the turnout is. That these people are standing out in lines in Afghanistan and Iraq and shit in 138-degree heat, you know, to fucking get the opportunity to vote.
Well, you know what, dude? We've talked on past episodes about how we're spoiled. You know, Americans, they don't appreciate the fact that they can vote anymore. When you go to a country like Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever that's never had the opportunity to vote, and you tell a human being who's never known freedom that, look, there's no more bad people that are going to come through and, you know, rape your sister and fucking cut off your dad's head. You can vote for somebody that you want to speak for you and lead you and shit. You know what I mean? You can vote for this judge or whatever the position may be. That's a big deal.
Unless you live in North Korea.
Yeah. Where
you get to vote,
and there's
but
one
you
person on the
fucking,
ballot.
Yeah, I was going to say, you better vote right, or, you know, the dude who fucking has only hit hole-in-ones and only makes three-pointers from fucking half court is going to fucking feed you to lions. Oh, shit. No, go ahead.
Whoa, former astronaut arrested in car crash that killed 2 girls.
Like, remember the one a few years ago who drove in diapers and shit herself and pissed herself to catch up to her astronaut cheating boyfriend or whatever?
Sorry, everybody, we're kind of losing interest right now. It's just we're waiting for these election updates, and it seems to be none. But you know why, though? There's not going to be a lot coming out, dude, until tonight, because people are just getting off work. You know what I'm saying? You know, they take all the votes that have gone through today are going to go somewhere in town, and they're going to tally them up. So it'll be tonight. We'll know more tonight, and we'll talk about it probably on the next episode. But we're watching it happen now, dude. People are out there. They're voting.
I got really excited about something a minute ago, and I forgot what it was now.
What was it?
I don't know.
Now you know how I feel all day, every day. That fucking sucks.
No, we were talking about something, and I forgot what it was, but it's not that important.
Real quick, in regards to that gorilla, I think zoos are fucking stupid. In the 1800s and the early 1900s, when there wasn't exactly a lot of fun leisure activities for people to go do, you know, there wasn't Disneylands, there wasn't Magic Mountains, movie theaters. They were limited on what they would do on their, you know, free time for leisure and fun. So they'd go to a zoo and they'd look at some exotic animal from some faraway land that 99.9% of the people weren't able to see anyways ever in their lifetime. You know, so I can understand in 1900 or in the mid-1800s when a circus comes to town or, you know, a zoo opens up, you see a gorilla or a tiger or a giraffe, you're like, whoa, that's pretty fucking gnarly. I get it, but it's 2016.
The thing with this gorilla, too, how many people, that exhibit had been open for 40 fucking years. How many millions of people have went and stared at that fucking gorilla and not had a problem?
Oh, wait a minute, dude. When you go to Magic Mountain and you stand in line to ride Superman, all right, there's that yellow line with hydraulic gate that goes in and out, and then there's some 25-year-old dude, 18, 19, whatever, at the little desk right there pushing buttons, and they're making sure you don't go into that roller coaster. That's something simple, all right? You're telling me that you go to a zoo with a 700-pound ape that can crush your skull with its hands. You're telling me that there's no extreme, crazy... Nobody sat down and said, okay, we need to come up with something nuts so nobody's stupid enough to go over that. The mom wasn't watching the child. I don't give a shit what you say, who you are. She wasn't watching the kid.
Minute and a half, and I said texting.
I have an 18-month-old little boy. That kid is everywhere. Let me tell you, it would take quite a long time for a kid to climb up an 8-foot enclosure. You'd have to be not paying attention. So I don't give a shit what you say. The mom...
Well, you know, there's a group of shrubs that he had to walk through. Not to mention, any of you, and I don't want to hear people, it could happen to any of us. Me and my wife's cousin had to talk about this today because where I work, we deal with this shit all the time. And people, you'll see people, you hear a loud sound around you, and people don't even look up. Now, you have a kid, you hear a loud sound, you look around you and see the fucking kids there, and if that's not your kid, it's time to go whoop some ass. You know, if your kid's not right there, which my kids were never not right there, because that's what you do. And then, and the other thing is if you hear absolute silence, then you need to find out where the fuck they're at, too.
Oh, dude, that's the thing with my kid, because you know him. He screams, he's loud, he's hyper, he's everywhere. When it gets quiet, I know 3 things, man. He's either eating dog food because he got into it somehow, he's got his hand in the bird cage, and or he's managed to open a door and get into somewhere. Dude, we got those little covers on our doorknobs. He knows how to put his fingers through the little holes, right, and wiggle the doorknob and go into it. It's unbelievable. So for you to tell me that this woman accidentally, that there was some logical reason, this bitch should be sued. You know what I mean? Like, she should be sued. I mean, what were you doing? What was, you know what she was doing? She was on this. She was on her phone.
100%.
She was on her phone. Or she was talking to somebody with her back turned who was also on their phone.
And I understand that they wanted to make these enclosures where like people, like, you know, where you can see the gorilla in its natural habitat, unencumbered, your view, and all that shit. You're telling me that they can't run some damn near invisible, high tensile, tiny ass steel, fiber optic, plastic, some shit. Dude, we watch a baseball game and there's a netting in front of you to keep foul balls from popping you in the face. Now, all it does at most is tint your view of it, maybe change the color of it, but that netting is not...
I don't know.
It doesn't block your field of vision.
And I'm not an animal rights activist by any means. I do sympathize for animals, I think, more than I sympathize for humans, because humans have the ability to help themselves, even if they're living in North Korea, man. You know, there's only a handful of people in a regime running that country, and there's millions of other people who are just living under it. They have if they were to come together and literally revolt, they can change it. But my point is that humans can help themselves. Animals can't, dude. First of all, how the fuck did a gorilla get to Cincinnati? What is a gorilla doing in Cincinnati?
Hitchhike.
So this beast was captured from whatever jungle it was living in, or it was born in captivity, either one, and then sent to fucking Cincinnati, Ohio, where there's no natural gorilla populations. It's sad. I think it's stupid. It's not 1895. It's not the early 1900s. Zoos got to go. You know, you want to see a gorilla or a chimp, go rent some Disney Nature Blu-rays, watch it on your TV, and have at it. Are you disagreeing?
No.
Are you on the gorilla train? I just think it's stupid.
I think I fucked up the sound. But, you know what? I almost...
I'm thinking he's going to disagree. I'm like, is he like a
Well,
zoo person? Are you,
dude,
are you like pro-zoo?
Yeah.
You are really?
To a degree. Because...
I don't fucking want to go to a zoo. How much they charge you going to do a zoo?
I don't know. It's cheap. It's relatively cheap for a day of entertainment. But the way I look at it is you get to see it. Because I ain't going on a fucking African safari.
Fuck no.
Fuck that shit. Because
No.
I don't want a bunch of dudes running around in tuxedo shoes with the fucking... with fucking tuxedo pants, hard shoes, and the team who lost a Cincinnati Bengals World Championship Super Bowl shirt, cutting my head off with a machete. So that's finished. I'm not getting out on a safari out in their broken ass trucks, going here. Let's go look at a zoo. $10
What, to get into a zoo? I'd rather go see a movie. I'm not, dude, I don't, you know, I took my wife to a zoo in Santa Barbara, and we were there 20 minutes, dude, and she's fucking crying her ass. Like, she's sitting there crying. My wife is like, the lion at the Santa Barbara Zoo is named Chad. Now I'm like, okay, now I feel bad for Chad.
Well, the lion at the Fresno Zoo? The lion at the Fresno Zoo, like when I was a kid, he was a dick. And he ruled, because he would just piss spray the entire crowd, and it was fucking hilarious. If you were smart and you knew what you were going on, like you knew what was up, you didn't stand at a certain distance, because that could chuck a piss at you from a mile away.
It's just, I mean, lions are supposed to be roaming, man, chasing gazelle and
You ever
fighting
seen
hyenas.
A male lion ain't roaming
no, I mean
shit.
the ones I seen at those
Whoa.
the ones I saw at that zoo looked.
They were all in the ovens. Oh, wait, hold on.
The one I saw at the zoo looked pretty decrepit. If that's, I mean, it looked like Scar from Lion King. It was like the most depressing, fucked up.
Evil.
Actually, no. You know what? No, Scar was actually a hero. You know why? Because Scar fought for equality. He wanted equal rights from the dominant, oppressive white lions. If you're a Bernie Sanders voter, then you need to be a fan of Scar, because Scar was never the villain. Scar was looking for equal rights. The hyenas were being oppressed.
But San Diego Zoo also, you got to pay because it's fucking 72 degrees at that.
You know, Donald Trump would be like a Mufasa. Fucking Bernie Sanders would be Scar with all his little hyena, give me free shit.
I think
We're living off elephant bones, motherfucking elephant graveyard, wanting free shit on the prairie.
That's
what it would be.
That's what Timon and Pumbaa are. Those fucking slug-eating, grass-eating.
Both those guys are played by gay guys.
Well, obviously, I mean, Bert and Ernie were too, sitting in a bathtub, tossing each other off as they're fucking playing with the rubber ducky. But this is Bernie Sanders' fascination. I think, to me, a lot of that is because his numbers weren't as strong at the beginning. But I think once they realized that it was over and the big evil monster was going to win, people like to yell conspiracy, to root for the underdog, to fight for the cause that is unwinnable, because as soon as they really realized that it was, his numbers bumped hard.
Dude, you know, and I respect that, because you know what? Fuck Hillary Clinton, dude.
Well, it's not like I'm rooting for her.
No, I know that. I wish it was somebody else in the Democrat Party who actually had some ideas other than let's give everyone free shit. But I respect the fact that the dude, you know, people go to him because he's like that grandpa that
He's fucking Larry David, dude. Fuck.
You know, it's like mom and dad won't let you go get an ice cream, and grandpa's like, all right, come on, let's go. I'll give you an ice cream. That's why they like him. I mean, that's what it is.
No, because millennials are a bunch of pussies.
They are weak. They're soft. But he's grandpa giving him free shit, dude.
Yeah,
he's
but
grandpa giving him candy.
You also had a mom who put a foot up your ass. I mean, you might be technically...
Still do.
Know, right, but
you see her slap me at my son's birthday?
Might be technically, be an age thing, but generally, it's like free shit. And do we all want free shit? Yes, but it doesn't fucking work that way.
When in society, throughout the history of human existence, have we just gotten free shit?
When's it ever worked?
It's never worked, but it's never worked. It's never society is never built like that. So why would it work now?
Well, I mean, at this point too, you look at taxpayers, and they talk about the evil fucking one percenters or whatever. I hate to tell you, a lot of us ain't paying that much, And when you start looking, the numbers are upside down. The amount of taxpayers, what's coming in, what's going out. And the shit ain't working.
I don't know. That's a whole other issue we can talk on about taxes and shit. But anyways, election's happening right now. If you're out there voting, kudos to you. It's amazing. Get out there, let your voice be heard. It's going to be you know what? The next, where are we at? June, July, August, September, October, November. The next 5 months is going to be the most wild.
You wonder why you failed the math test?
Huh?
You wonder why you failed the math test?
The next 5 months are going to be extremely fun. It's going to be wild. There's going to be riots in the streets. Either or. If Hillary gets elected, there's going to be some chaos going down, man. If Trump's elected, you best start stocking up on water. It's going to get stupid.
It's a conspiracy theorists are going to fucking shit their pants no matter who wins, no matter what happens.
Well, not so much that, but look at what people are doing right now. It's getting bloody, and there's not even an official nominee. Trump hasn't even picked a vice president nominee yet. It's going to get stupid. So we're going to have some fun talking about it. I think I want to put together. I think we talked about doing some election podcasts and some election.
Dude, I'm telling you, election day,
election parties, debate
election
podcast.
Day is going to be.
It's going to be wild, dude.
It's going to be us in here all day.
God, I wish this is a day that I could. I wish if there's one day I could drink again, it would be election day this year. Because that is going to be fucking
As I say, because I'm buying a bucket
cuckoo.
of beer and I'm going to sit here and get goofy watching riots on one channel.
Dude, it's going to
we'll
be
just
wild.
Take breaks and there'll be 12 podcasts put up that day, 12 separate episodes.
It's going to be wild. I want to have a debate podcast or a debate party. Host a little debate party, nothing big. Just have people maybe meet at B Riders or whatever, and just watch that shit on the projector. Because it's going to be pure, utter comedy, bro. Complete. It is. Watching Hillary and him go at each other, and whoever their vice presidential nominees are, dude, I can't wait. So, good job on voting out there, guys. Make sure you research the shit you believe in and vote, not just because somebody tells you to or because, you saw it on Facebook. Make sure you do your research, all right?
We got shirts for sale because we placed the order. People who ordered will be getting their orders fulfilled very soon. Matter of fact, we made a run to the post office today. Some were dropped off. Some are being hand-delivered. We have surplus. We ordered extra. And hopefully they will be around for Freedom Fest. Well, actually, hopefully not. Hopefully we have to make another order. Or we don't have any, so they're sold. But we have shirts. They're $15 a piece. We've got large, extra large, and a couple of fatty shirts. Double X's.
We know a couple people that might need those.
Shit, I know a couple people that need fucking 10X.
But listen up. Bakersfield, this episode is going to be released Wednesday the 8th. In Bakersfield, you're going to start seeing Freedom Fest signs all over town. It's going to be everywhere. Freedom Fest is coming July 2nd. It's happening, though. Freedom Fest is happening July 2nd at B-Riders. The Aviators are going to be there. Rearview Mirror. They're like a 90s rock cover band. They're really fun. And then Il Tiempo, which is an exciting new band here in town. So if you're in Bakersfield, just where you want to be. We have tickets available now. Message us. If you're in Bakersfield, we can get those to you. $7 pre-sale, $8 at the door. It's going to be a 50-50 raffle, so you get to win some cash possibly. There's going to be some other raffles coming from the beard stuff. EP Armory is going to be raffling some stuff. We'll let you know as soon as we know what they're going to be doing. A couple gift baskets raffled off.
It might go bang, bang. We're not sure. It might go bang, bang, and it might not be a firework, but who knows.
A couple gift baskets with, like, maybe some gift certificates for California Pizza Kitchen, whatnot, Outback. Stay tuned, man. It's going to be awesome, so stay tuned. Get all the infos. We're all over Facebook. Check out the videos. It's going to be the most patriotic, badass American 4th of July festival, I think, that this city has ever fucking seen. And this is just the first, because it's only going to get better each year. This is the Chadman and Randy Show. Out.
This is the world we live in.